The Atlanta Braves get walked off 5-4 in 11 innings by the Athletics to drop their series in Sacramento. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day, no matter how much they break your heart. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That is Jake Mastroianni, host of Locked On Braves. Catch him on social media at shortstopball. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Braves wherever you get your podcasts. Jake, a lot I want to get to here, but Braves get walked off 5-4 in 11 innings. And this has been a tough season for all of us. I mean, it goes without saying. At what point did you think Atlanta's not going to win this game? Because I think for me, it was the solo shot in the 8th inning that tied the game up. And when that happened, I said, okay, this isn't the type of offense that's been producing enough to come back late against Mason Miller in a very, very good back end of the bullpen.
Yeah, I'd say probably about the same time, because then you had Mason Miller for the 9th, and then for the 10th, you had Harris, Albies, and what ultimately ended up being Drake Baldwin coming up. So you knew the next 2 innings were going to be rough. They got through that and then had the top of their order coming up, and that's when I started to have a little bit of hope again with the Ronald and Olsen. I thought, okay, well, maybe they are going to win this one, but nope, not with this offense.
Yeah, I didn't realize this until you pointed it out right before we went live. The Braves played 11 innings of baseball today, and they had 5 hits. I didn't even realize it was that few hits until we got here. This is the most surprising thing to me. I know that JP Sears is better than Mitch Spence, but the at-bats tonight were so much different from the aggressive early A swings that we saw last night. I know you faced a different starter, but it feels like you figured out something that worked on Wednesday and you went right back to the old thing that hasn't worked all game on Thursday.
And I'd be curious to see, because you're right, definitely early on, and Wiley pointed out too in those first 3 innings where they went 3 up, 3 down, how patient they were being. But then we saw them, start to hit a couple of home runs, and we saw them. So I'd be curious to go back and see, did they start being more aggressive? But you're right. And I was going to point that out too, because I know we talked about it yesterday. And then Wiley mentioned on the broadcast just how patient they were being tonight. And I thought, okay, well, what offensive approach are we going with today? It's just, let's just pull a sheet out of paper and see, what are we going to do today? Do we want to go patient? Do we want to go aggressive? It's just pick something. It's so frustrating and maddening with this offense. You don't know what they're going to do, but 5 hits in 11 innings against the Oakland A's pitching staff in that ballpark. 3 of them were extra base hits.
Yeah.
That's just bad. I mean, that is just really, really bad. You got 2 chances in extra innings to score with the leadoff runner at second base, and I don't think they even advanced in either inning.
No,
I think the final White
did steal. Yeah.
So it's just bad. It's a bad offense. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah. I mean, we found different ways to word that today, but the big thing, and this is a bad offense. Like, let's be completely clear. You said it. I'm going to say it. Everybody who says like, hey, you guys haven't been aggressive enough at criticizing them, this was a bad offense. Atlanta went 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. 6 of those at-bats were in extras where they were given a runner on second base. And Ozzie Albies, like with Eli White on second, a fast runner, Ozzie Albies strikes out. 4-pitch at-bat, 1 of them is in the zone. Now, in his defense, ball 3 high, ball 4 is close to the zone and close enough where he kind of has to swing. But he swings at a sweeper that just about hits the plate. Michael Harris strikes out in a 4-pitch at-bat. It reminds me of, we talked about the top of the order the other day where they had a runner, it was either on second and third, they couldn't get the ball out of the infield. Similar situation here. 2 of these guys can't even make contact with the ball. I think Michael did foul 1 of them off. And so when you get the Drake Baldwin sack fly, that I was right, the fly out, that could have been a sack fly if somebody had advanced Eli White to third, and nobody did. Just frustrating. Then to your point, they do get a runner to move up a little bit in the 10th, but just still just very, very frustrating. Luke Williams got on third base. Nobody could do anything, even the top of your order. And another loss that we've said it puts the nail in the coffin about half a dozen times now. But this has to be the one that puts the nail in the coffin, losing a series to the Athletics in Sacramento.
Yeah, Lindsay, you got a 9-game stretch where you're playing 3 against the Angels, 3 against the Orioles, and 3 against the A's, and you win 2 games. like if you wanted to send any kind of message to your front office that you got any kind of fight, that you want them to go out and make a move to help you in the second half, well, that message failed to get sent because you sent the exact opposite message, that you are folding, that you are done with the season and you're ready to move on. I mean, that is just about as pathetic as it gets. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you had a stretch here before the All-Star break where you could have done some damage. You could have gotten yourself at least back in it to give yourself a chance in the second half, and maybe at least make the front office think about making a small move or two, at least to get a starter in there. Now it's complete sell mode. And now it's just, we'll get to the pitching side. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But now it's just, can you make your players attractive enough that somebody wants to trade for them and give you something, halfway decent for this? I mean, the season is just absolutely toast when you have a stretch like this and you get 2 wins against the Angels, Orioles, and A's.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have many other games against teams worse than you on the, in the standings. And this was an opportunity to try to get a couple, and you didn't do it. Last thing before we go to break, Jurickson Profar hits a home run. It's his third home run since he came back. He's not walked once since he comes back. I just find it really interesting that the thing they brought him in for, to work counts, to get on base, to walk, he hasn't walked once since he came back, but he has 9 strikeouts. Just found that interesting. Just wanted to throw it out there. No analysis, just an observation.
Yeah, no, I found that interesting too. I was going to look at his strikeout rate because I'm thinking this is a guy that never strikes out, and I feel like he's striking out a lot. It's 26% strikeout rate coming into today, and it's like he took the old Braves offensive approach of boom and bust, but I don't know if anybody else is. So it's almost like he's just trying to prove, hey, that PED suspension was bogus. I didn't know it, and the power is real. It feels like that's what he's trying to prove right now.
Yeah, he's just swinging for the fences so that hopefully he can save face there. All right, in just a second, we're going to talk about the pitching. We're going to talk about Spencer Strider, some of the bullpen moves, all that. We'll do that next right here on the Braves Postcast. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. The weather's nice, the drinks are cold, you want to watch some baseball. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress, because Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. They've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Okay, Jake, so Spencer Strider gets got early in this game, gives up a home run to Tyler Soderstrom, a 3-run shot, and then doesn't allow another run for the last 5 2/3 innings. Goes 6 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. I thought that the homer was his fault. I mean, he hangs a slider kind of center cut. You can't really say that was just good hitting. He was a bad pitch on his part. But outside of that, I thought this was the best version of the reduced velocity Spencer Strider we've seen since he came back.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of that dominant look, and we probably should have seen it coming with Bryce Elder having so much success on his slider. But the slider from Strider tonight was just ridiculous. I mean, 62% strikeout rate on his slider. It was just completely filthy. They didn't know what to do with it. As long as he threw it in the right spot and didn't hang it. But for the most part, he did throw it really well, even with the velocity. I mean, this was, again, I'm watching to see, is the velocity going to jump at all? This one actually didn't. It went backwards a little bit. He topped out at 97.1. So that's a bit of a bummer. But I think in that first inning, yeah, it could have been. I think in that first inning too, he gives up the double to Rooker, just, good hitter, got to pitch up. But I think it was that next at bat. He had a couple of pitches in that at bat really close. You could see him kind of frustrated with the umpire. He was just missing. But then, he has to come into the zone and leaves one middle, and you just can't make that mistake in that ballpark. But you're right. After that, I thought it was great because at that point I'm thinking, okay, here we go. It's another, Tuesday night situation. We're about to get blown out. They're going to score 6 or 7 runs, and we're going to be saying, are we really going to stay up for this? Instead, they made us go to extra innings and still lose. So we stayed up anyway. But thankfully, there's almost 200 of you here. So appreciate you for that. But what I thought Strider was good. Like I said, after that, he settled in and was, really got that slider working. And it just goes to show you that even with the diminished velocity, he has to be good with command. You saw that in this too. The command has to be good, but that slider is just such a good pitch that he can dominate just with that.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with the decision to pull him for the Lawrence Butler at bat. Dylan Lee comes in to try to get Lawrence Butler, another guy with a great slider. We're talking about these sliders. He actually gives up the single on a really well-placed slider off the plate that Butler just goes out and gets. And then Brent Rooker gets the strikeout to end the 7th. And then you bring Dylan Lee back for the 8th. And I guess I asked you about the decision to pull Strider. He wasn't happy about it, obviously. But I don't think the home run to Kurtz was a terrible pitch. Fastball up and away, edge of the zone. Kurt just puts up a really good swing on that pitch. I feel like most pitches there don't get put out for home runs. But this ballpark, this kid who's leading all rookies and homers, it ended up being a homer.
Yeah, 39-degree launch angle. I mean, he did it at 102.6. It goes 358. I think he struck out Rooker with a high fastball to end the last inning. Yeah, he did 95 up to get Rooker. Interesting. You bring Dylan Lee in, who's great against lefties and righties. They show the stat on the screen. I mean, both are hitting under, I think, 170 against him, but he comes in to face the lefty Lawrence Butler, gives up a hit, strikes out the righty and Rooker, and then gives up the home run to the lefty Kurt. So it's just, I get it. I mean, he is a left-handed pitcher, and it's going to make him tougher on lefties generally. I'm with you, though. Strider was in such a groove and just looked like it was easy for him out there. At least let him just finish the inning or give him one more batter. You put somebody on, okay, you want to go to Dylan Lee, that's fine. But I thought that was just a little too cute. But, I mean, I can't blame Snit. You're going to one of your best relievers, a guy that's been so solid for you all year in Dylan Lee. Like I said, just a really powerful hitter, got enough of the barrel on the baseball in a small ballpark, was able to get it out.
And I'm guessing if they even asked him about it after the game, Snit's going to say, well, he was already at 101 pitches. That was his season high since he came back from the elbow surgery. So I'm going to guess that's why, but I agree. Let him at least get one more batter, have a chance to get out of that and get 7, because Atlanta's doing that thing again where you have a reliever finish the inning and you bring him back for the next one, trying to steal a couple extra outs here and there. And I'm not going to say that it was the wrong move to have Dylan Lee face Nick Kurtz. Again, I think it was a good pitch. That's probably what I would have thrown too, if not a slider down and away. It just didn't work out. But more of Atlanta trying to steal these strikes. I do think Raisel Iglesias looked pretty good in the 9th. And my first thought was, he had to have rebuilt some trade value by now.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it next week, but he had to rebuild some trade value at this point.
Yeah, that was my point too. That I wanted to kind of tease at the beginning too, is I think it looks like Iglesias is back in the 9th inning. We've seen Dylan Lee now work in the 7th, 8th inning in the last couple of games with Dacewell back. It feels like it's Lee, Dacewell, Iggy. And I just wonder if the Braves are thinking, hey, let's throw him back out there. Hopefully he looks good for a couple of weeks and we can trade him or something at the deadline. And people see him as a closer again. So fingers crossed. Hopefully Iggy's back to being Iggy. He looks like a closer and the Braves can get maybe something decent for him at the deadline. But yeah, it looks like Snicker's just throwing back out there in that 9th inning.
It does feel like they're trying to use Lee in the highest leverage spots, which is really kind of outside of how Snitz always worked. But like that was the top of the order coming up with Lawrence Butler, so I get it. You could almost maybe argue that Iglesias and then Pierce Johnson and then Aaron Bummer. I know you throw Aaron Bummer at that point to use him for multiple innings, but it almost felt like that's your guys that you're trying to trade because Aaron Bummer's contract goes up to $9.5 million. PJ has the club option. That was almost the chance there to showcase some of your guys for a trade. All right, so the thing that's annoying is this was a getaway day game. They play tomorrow at 8:15 Eastern in St. Louis. The itinerary for the team before they went to extras was landing at 5:30 in the morning in St. Louis to play a game that night. For some reason, I don't think this is going to bother Grant Holmes that much. I kind of feel like Grant Holmes is in that point where he can just handle whatever you throw at him no matter what. So he's probably going to be fine, but I have low expectations for the offense tomorrow.
I got low expectations every day for this offense right now, Lindsay. I don't know that it matters all that much.
That's a good point.
I wonder if Grant Holmes, maybe he blew ahead early, but like you said, I don't feel like things really phase Grant Holmes. But
that's a good point. We didn't see him in the dugout, and the Braves do let the guys, if they want to, do let them fly ahead early. So he may already be in St. Louis and getting some rest. Good point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So finished off this half. I know I'll be out the rest of the break. So hopefully bring us some wins over the weekend, go into the half feeling good, and have a good All-Star game and home run derby.
Yeah, it's going to be tons of fun. Reminder to everybody, we will have postcasts all weekend. I'll be here to cover these games. Sunday night, we're talking about the draft over on Locked On MLB. I'll have that show posted over here as soon as we get done with that. And then Jake will be back early next week to break down what happened in the draft, the players that Atlanta took. Hopefully they took a bunch of shortstops. We'll see what happens. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music. Tell Jake you hope he has fun over the weekend on your review. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Go ahead and subscribe to Locked On MLB as well, so you're ready for that draft show on Sunday and for MLB Game Night every night, where we cover every single game like only Locked On can do it. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Lindsay Crosby. This has been the Braves Postcast.